Hey guys, this is Dave from Apex-Used-Appliance-Control-Boards.com, and today we have a Whirlpool oven in the shop. We're going to check out the control board, see if it's working, and then remove it for sale. But the number one question we get at Apex-Used-Appliance-Control-Boards is, how do I test the control board to know that that's what I need before I purchase one? And so what we're going to do is just go over a couple things to the main problems people are going to have with their control boards. It's not going to light up, it's not going to be getting the proper power, so display is dark, and or you can't get bake or broil to function. So we're just going to go over the most basic stuff and show you guys how to test your oven control board. And then we also want to talk about where the part numbers are, how to get them out, and also where the model number is, which is essential for buying the correct control board for your appliance. So first things first, this is this particular style Whirlpool, and we'll show you the part number here in just a minute. But here we go with the model number. Pretty much every oven is exactly the same, and the model number's right down here, and they're kind of hard to read. You got to get down on your hands and knees and open up the drawer and check it out. It does have another digit all the way to the right. That is that 0. That is part of the model number. So it's all these digits here, and then that 0 sticking out at the top. It'll be a 0, 1 through 4. So very important to have that, and that will help you find your... Alright, here we are around back, and we've already taken the panel off. Of course, there's screws all the way down, and we don't need to show that in the video, but just take all the screws off, the entire panel comes off. The control board's right up here, that's where it lives, and then coming down here is where the terminal block is, and that's where the power comes in from the wall, and that's where we're going to check for our voltages first and foremost. We've got to check for loose wires, because right here is where most of the problems happen with ovens. If those wires right there are loose, frayed, burnt, you'll know right away. But that is a very common problem for lack of power. That's why your control board would be not having any power whatsoever. Alright, first thing we got to talk about is the voltage coming in from the wall. This is line 2, that's 120 volts. This is neutral and white, and then of course this black one, line 1. The way we have this hooked up right now to the meter is voltage AC, and we have it neutral to line 1, and then we should see 120 volts coming in from the wall, and that's what we see here. And then we're just going to switch it from line 1 to line 2 and also check for 120 volts. So right there we have 120 volts, and then we're going to test them between line 1 and line 2 for 220 or 210. And there's our 210 volts combined, so that's relative to each other. First two tests were relative to neutral, and then now to each other, and that voltage is correct. And then we should be able to just follow this black line right up to our control board and check for 120 volts up here, and that's what feeds the control board. Okay, so we're just going to follow the black lead all the way up to the control board, right here where it plugs into the main control board, and then we're just going to disconnect it, check for 120 volts getting to the control board. The way we do that is just going to take our probe and put it right into where the black lead goes, black wire comes in, and then check for 120 volts again. So we know that we got the right voltage coming in out of the wall for the and this is line 1. Line 1 is going to feed the voltage to the control board there. So this one's displaying and it has 120 volts. So we know this control board is getting the proper voltage. And then the next thing we want to do is check for bake and broil. That's going to be our blue and yellow wires here, and we'll show you how to do that. Alright, I said blue and yellow, but it's on this oven, it's bake is red, blue is broil, and we're right over here, and we just got the red lead coming in from our voltmeter, and our black lead is down here still at neutral. So we're going to put this in bake and look for 120 volts. We hear the audible click, and that's relay switching over, and then we're going to check here. So again, yes, we have the 120 volts showing, and then when we hit stop or clear, it should go down to 0. This one's working perfectly. That checked the relay on the main board. The control board's working so far, and then we're going to check on broil, which is the blue wire over here, and go through the same testing procedure, just basically turning it on in broil and checking for 120 volts. So we got it hooked up to blue, and we hear the audible click, and we're going to check for 120 volts down here at the meter. And again, now we have 120 volts in broil. So everything tests out on this control board. Obviously we're going to test the buttons and let it cook for a while and that kind of thing, check it out completely. But for yours, if you don't have bake or broil, that's how we check, make sure that we need a control board. So either one of those tests were to fail, then it wouldn't be getting the proper voltage from the control board out to to the bake and broil elements, and I'm going to show you guys how to check those real quick too. Okay, so we just disconnected the broil element. So right here, that's one half of the broil element, and then right here is the other half of the broil element. We have this side disconnected so we can test for continuity and for resistance through the broil element. So we're going to go ahead and connect that now, and then my meter is set up to do both continuity and low ohms reading at the same time. So it's showing 15 ohms, and also the audible tone is saying that there's electricity getting through there, so that's working. Then we're going to come down to the bake element and do the same thing. Okay, we started looking at this. This is a fuse, and where we're going right now, you can hear it beeping. We just have the element for bake disconnected. On this particular model, the bake element is under the whole unit. You have to take the whole thing apart to get to it. So we're just checking continuity through these wires right here, and that's going down to the bake element, and then we're getting 21 ohms. And again, this oven's getting hot, so we know that this bake element is doing just fine. Just want to show you how to test that. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you how to test the fuse itself, and this will keep it from baking or broil. So if you don't have either one, this is a good place to start. Okay, so again, now we have our meter set at continuity or ohms. We have the oven unplugged, so all the continuity tests, ohms tests, are made with the appliance unplugged. And then we're going to go back to this fuse right here. We're going to test for continuity going through this little fuse, and right away we hear it tone, and this fuse is working. If it wasn't working, again, you wouldn't have bake or broil. Not all ovens have this, but this particular model does. Alright, now that we have those tests taken care of, we're going to show you how to get the control board out. And what we like to do is just take the screws out of it, leave it plugged in for the time being. Of course, I like to take a picture of it before I take them apart. That way I know how to put all the wires back in, just in case I don't remember exactly. But we just took it out, we have it in hand, and that will allow you to take the wires out. I find it a little bit easier to do that. But the main reason we did it like this is so we can show you where the part number is, and it's very important to check the part number versus what's on your control board so you get the right one. This one's this little tiny little number, starts right here, 975 and so on. That's the number that Whirlpool put on this. It's really small. It's not the big number, it's the little tiny one. That's how you find the information you're looking for to buy the right control board. And if you need a control board, please give us a chance to serve you at Apex-Used-Appliance-Control-Boards.com. Thanks for watching the video.